Is there something to Kuminga the last handful of games when he was healthy wasn't playing as well, though?
He struggled against Indiana. There's no doubt about that. 4-17, going to the paint. I think the paint was there was a lot of spacing issues with that starting lineup, but Kuminga's been fine. Kuminga was fine against Miami just last Tuesday. What are the people talking about here with Jonathan Kuminga? Backsliding? Like, Kuminga's been as consistent as anybody on his roster for the most part. Like, that Indiana game was like his first, like, poor performance.
Well, the team also played poor.
Right. So I'm cool with Kuminga. Look, he had 26 against Memphis, the CVS Memphis Grizzlies, because they had an injury report that was longer than the CVS receipt. The Pacers game was rough. Minnesota, he scored 14, 3 rebounds. They lost by 4. 18-7 against Miami this last time out when they beat the Heat. So, and I know the Heat was shorthanded, but, it's a big game today. I wonder what this game will do.
Do I sound like a bandwagoner the way I'm describing?
What do you mean?
Well, not that Warrior fans aren't. Like, I think we flippantly say, like, oh, hey, you're not loyal and you're not tapped in. And
I don't know
you're not some diehard. It's like, dude, I watch every game. I've been watching every game my adult life. I can count how many games I've missed on the big 3 sports on 2 hands here. But I do feel like a little bit of apathy has set in for a segment of Warrior fans because it's been kind of a grind the last couple of years. And I mean, just like everything.
Well,
everything.
Funny. Well, I'll say to that is a lot of people aren't built for the grind. A lot of people aren't built for the dark days. A lot of people it's just so easy to just tap out and say bye-bye. Like the Danny Freisinger, who we all love. Shout out to Danny Freisinger. But I remember after the Warriors invested in the NBA Finals for what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight seasons?
Uh-huh.
Danny Freisinger, when they did go 15-50, I remember the miss of that season, he goes, Bonte, I don't mind it. It's been a lot over the last 5 years going to the finals. I'm exhausted. I'm like, you're exhausted from winning? You're exhausted from playing deep into the playoffs?
Can we put him to the side?
No, I'm just saying, but that's...
No, I know. But are all your relationships in life, whether it's the loyalty to your team, are they all constant or are they kind of up and down a little?
I'm constant.
Really?
Yeah, I'm constant.
Because I know my relationship with my wife, we got great weeks, we got...
that's day to day. That's
the same thing with these teams for me. Like, I love hard. Yeah. And there are times where, like, the Niners... I always love my Niners, but there was a point in time, I didn't love them as much. And I don't mean like I didn't care for them and they weren't my number one and I didn't miss a minute, but it was like, ugh. Like, it was like watching them almost in a disgust mode.
Yeah.
And I'm not there with the Warriors, but I'm saying, like, there was a point in time with the Giants where I'm anger watching, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you hate watch.
Yeah.
Or you anger watch where you're not hoping for them to lose, but you're just disappointed that the team looks like they look.
Well, I feel like the Warriors, and I'm not saying, like, I still love the Warriors, but there are times where I'm very indifferent watching them because I feel like we've hit a little rut here, and it's like clear to me that, like, we got to get to the end of the year. I want to see what happens at the end of the year. And then I also know in the back of my head, man, they got to make a lot of big moves if they want to be back into the mix.
Well, I want to get to that in just a second. By the way, late addition to the program, Ryan Rucco, ESPN, friend of the program, is going to join us at 8:30. He was calling the Iowa LSU game last night, doing a hell of a job doing that. What a tournament. Caitlin Clark, she was phenomenal. Angel Reese was good. How about Paige Beckers for UConn, outlasting USC and Juju Watkins? She's a baller, just a freshman. So impressed with the ladies out there holding it down in the women's basketball tournament. And women's game is growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And it's good to see them love. So we'll give Ryan Rucco some love and ask him about calling these games here. But when it comes to the Warriors, maybe you just need a big change. Maybe people might change. Maybe people want to change. I don't know, but Brian.
But if I didn't have, real quick before you go play this down, if they didn't have Steph, Clay, and Dre, and it was Podziemski and TJD and Kuminga, and they were in the same exact spot record-wise they were right now, it would just feel different for everyone. I don't know. It would feel different. And I think that the fact that you've had the same core for a long, long, long time, and they've gotten us to the highest of highs, it has recalibrated everyone's expectations on what success is. And I believe once that core, goes away, we will recalibrate again.
Yeah, probably. But I will never get bored of watching Steph Curry.
That's not what I'm saying.
Me. No, I hear what you're saying. You just want something to change. This team, I want to see, what I want to see is how this is going to end. I do want to
see them in the play-ins.
I want to see what they can do now. Because they've only lost one Western Conference series under Steve Kerr, and I get that. This is a completely different team. They're older, they're less athletic, they've all lost a little something. They've all lost a little something. It's fair to say that. They are getting older. This team, it's just been a lot with this team. The inconsistencies, I think that's what has you feeling like this, Shasky. I think Draymond Green being suspended multiple times and ejected has done something to the fandom here. I think Andrew Wiggins stepping away from the team due to personal reasons, whether you like it or not, whether you know what's going on or not, that has done something to the fan base. And it is what it is. And it's unfair, but it is what it is with some of these fan base.
No, I think
lack of winning at home.
Yes.
The inconsistencies. When you get inconsistent play and you're coming off of last season, which was, let's face it, man, last season they had a 5-game winning streak a couple times, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
And then the way the playoffs went down. And
the lack of road wins.
Yeah. And the other aspect is this. I think when you watch every night, it's like, wow, this team that we're playing, who's been, and also ran for a decade, they're more athletic than the Warriors. Wow, they shoot better than the Warriors. Wow, it's been a lot. So the overall takeaway is we're not so much clear-cut better than everyone every single night, and I have to recalibrate as a fan, and there are some frustrations as I'm watching.
But that's sports, though.
No doubt,
that's
no
sports,
doubt.
So I don't get why
it's not exclusive to the Warriors.
Brian Getzeiler, Sirius XM Radio, joined Steiny and Goo yesterday, and they were talking about big changes. What does big changes look like? What does this sound like? What are big changes for the Golden State Warriors? Here's Getzeiler on those potential big changes.
All right, so what's a big change? Not re-signing Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
That'd be a big change.
Yep.
Right? And listen, I still think they're going to re-sign Klay Thompson. But the bottom line is that we're here at April 1st, 2024. His contract expires June 30th, 2024, and they don't have his name on an extension. So we have to explore that. Again, don't think it's going to happen, but that will be a major change. I think they're going to be out there trying to find any taker they possibly can for Andrew Wiggins. I think, and that would be a substantial change. Now, who will that taker be? Will they have to attach draft picks to him to get rid of him? Maybe it's some kind of swap with someone like the Nets to bring them the last year of Simmons' contract to get them out of the last, 3 years of Wiggins. It could be something like that. But I think that would be a substantial change.
So obviously a huge change would be moving off one of the members of the big three. Klay, Dre, or Steph. And we know Steph's not going anywhere. Sounds like Draymond's not going anywhere. Klay Thompson doesn't have a contract yet. We'll see what happens with him. Maybe is one thing that we'll probably talk about in the offseason is this even the best situation for Klay Thompson moving forward? Considering the style of basketball play, considering the style of play, considering where he's at in his career. I don't know. That's something we'll visit.
That's an interesting question. They did make a big – I think they did make a big move last year. They traded Jordan Poole for Chris Paul. And it doesn't feel like it's enough of a game changer. Would you agree?
Nah, because I think a big move is people want size and athleticism. Bigger
no,
guy.
but I mean, big move in the sense of
moving off
contracts.
But Poole was just here. Yeah, in terms of contracts.
And he was a top, would you say, even at his worst, Jordan Poole was a top 7 player on the team?
Yeah, no doubt. Right? No doubt. But he wasn't here long enough to where fans, after what happened last season, a lot of people blame Jordan Poole what happened. Emotional connectivity
that's it.
The emotional ties to Draymond, Steph, and Klay
is way deep.
It's deep.
It's not even close. It's like moving off of Matt Duffy versus, Belter or Crawford. I agree with you.
There's a lot of Warrior fans who would say, well, Jordan Poole caught lightning in a bottle. It was a fluky season. That's how they will try to interpret it.
I have a lot of really good memories of Jordan Poole.
I do too. I try to have a lot of good memories of Jordan Poole. But here's Kawakami, who joined Willard the Dibs yesterday because he had Joe Lacob on his podcast, about a month ago, Spadone? Within the last 2 weeks ago, he had Joe Lacob on his podcast. And Kawakami tried to explain what Lacob may have meant about making big changes this offseason.
I think Chris Paul coming back is now very dwindling chances of that happening. That's a contract that would just disappear. Klay Thompson will not be signing for $40 million. I'll tell you that. And if he does, it will not be with the Warriors, and it might be half of that. I think those are two easy things for them. Those are two big changes, right? To not bring back those two players would be large, or to bring back Klay at a low number. I think Kevon Looney, probably at this point, I would not draw him down as being on the roster. So just those three things would be interesting, or they could possibly use the Chris Paul contract. It's non-guaranteed. If the other team, if you trade him to a team that guarantees it, you can use it to try to acquire money back. Those are the easy things, or maybe not easy. Those are the kind of the workable things.
See, that to me doesn't sound like big changes. Because I think going into the season, we all assumed that this was a one-year deal with Chris Paul. Now, some of us would love to see Chris Paul back But are you going to bring him back at $30 million?
Well, I don't want to lose the $30 million in trade cap exceptions.
Right, exactly.
Right? Because it's so different. You don't just, like, if you lose Chris Paul and he just opts out and he goes into the oblivion and you don't do a sign and trade, you lose that money.
No doubt. You lose that slot. You lose that money. No doubt.
You can't get significantly better without that money. But there's the catch-22. Are you going to go that deep into the luxury tax?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think you are when you're in 10th place right now. But
sure
to
feels
me,
like
Chris Paul moving on wouldn't be a big change. A big change would be moving two of your top 6 players, which is Clay or Wiggins.
We'll get to that in a second. I would be kind of disappointed, though, if you took the Jordan Poole ascension 1 year, gave him money, traded him for 1 year of CP3, only to lose all of that. That would be... I mean, it is what it is, but that's a tough pill to swallow.
He's 40 years old, and I'm not sure Chris Paul is extremely... Chris Paul's been a complete professional. I'm so impressed with Chris Paul.
No doubt.
I have so much respect for him. But what I'm saying is, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, Chris Paul may not think this situation as being advantageous for him moving forward.
No question.
You know what I'm saying? His role has been kind of
I understand.
You don't settle the final lineups and rotations, and one day you're seeing 25 minutes, one day you're seeing 18 minutes. I don't know, but you got to get under that second apron at some point. You have to do that. And you're not going to try to go spend more money on a team. You're already the most expensive roster in basketball.
I mean, but this is where, like, the requirement is you're going to have to probably move off of Wiggins. Who knows what they do with Draymond? Clay's going to have to accept less money. I mean, there's a variety of things that need to happen, because even if you just have Wiggins' trade, his salary cap to trade, it's not enough to net you the true difference makers who are making 15 to 20 million more than what he's making.
Before we get to Samita, though, like, think about this, though. If you're Klay Thompson, and I'm not pocket watching here, but you see Andrew Wiggins, you see Poole, and you see Draymond get the money that they got from the Golden State Warriors. Why the hell would you take a pay cut?
From his point of view, I get it. Pay cut? Yeah, he has to take a pay cut. Like, I mean, he just does. If he wants to stay compromise. Because I can't justify paying him $43 million.
I don't think he's looking for 43.
Oh, no. Well, then that's a pay cut. So anything less than that is quote-unquote pay cut.
I mean, like, we're going down $20 million.
I think 25-ish is around the range to me, give or take. You know, that's the range.
I'm going to stick by this.
I think he's right around, I think he's worth more than these guys, but I think what they'll end up trying to give him is something in the Wiggins, Draymond Green category.
So I'm looking, I'm going to stand 10 toes down on this one. I think there's going to be a team that offers Klay Thompson 30 a year.
But don't the Warriors have to do what's best for them?
Absolutely. But I'm saying, and they do. But we look at the Warriors and we say, boy, there's a lack of shooting here. Lack of shooting? You want to give up one of the better shooters in the league?
Well, the second best shooter on your team, by far. Right?
Not even close.
Right? So forget the league. I just look at your current team. How are you filling that need?
Don't know. You don't have a lot of wiggle room. Let's go to Samita in Los Gatos. Samita, what's happening? You're on the roast. You're on 95.7 The Game.
Hey, guys. Morning. I just wanted to make a couple of comments.
Yeah.
First of all, Vontae, your fit on Sunday was great. It was fun. I really love that outfit.
Oh, thank you. I tried to give
you
a little Easter Sunday special, man. A little pink, a little light blue.
I like
so one time I could pull it out.
The light blue is very nice. Very fashionable.
Yeah, that was a nice fit.
Thank you.
So about the Warriors, I got to tell you, I think I'm with Shatsky on this one. Like, I'm a diehard. I've said that every time. I grew up in the Midwest, so, we live and die with our teams out there. I think sometimes it feels like the fans want it more than the team. I mean, I watched that San Antonio game, and I was like, how did we almost lose? How did we play this poorly against a team that's won 18 games and is missing a couple of key guys? It just seems like, it's almost like my situation with my team where you're like, I know you're capable of better. Why can't you just put it together and perform? Why'd you miss that assignment? Why did you make that careless mistake here? Mm-hmm. Like, that's kind of what it seems like to me. Like, the inconsistencies to me are now starting to feel like, as a collective, the team is just not locked in. Steph's locked in. Dre is sometimes locked in. Clay's now coming off the bench. I think the young guys, some of them, it's too much inconsistency. I don't feel like all the horses are going in the same direction when it counts.
Yep. No, hey, and Samita, that's a great point. I'll keep staying on the line here before we get to John Burbank. So, Samita, no, and that's something. I want to see over the last 8 games, can this team possibly play as one. Because to your point, they've all been inconsistent this season. Even Stephen Curry post All-Star break, his shooting numbers are down, even though he's still giving you 22, 4, and 4. But the efficiency hasn't been there because everybody else hasn't been. They haven't been in sync as one. That's the most frustrating part of this season.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's, you feel like the pieces are starting to come together. The young guys, we talked about the 2 timelines. I heard you guys talk about the 2 timelines kind of coming together, and it's meshing a little bit better. But, yeah, I mean, we don't have a 1A. We have a 1, and we don't have a 1A option.
Yep.
One other point I just wanted to make, I've been thinking about this ever since Shatsky was gone for a couple of weeks, and I just wanted to let you guys know it's life out here in the Bay is pretty rough. Everybody's, just trying to do their best and kind of survive. And what you guys do, it really provides a really nice start to the day where I'm focused on something else. I feel like I'm part of a collective. I feel like regardless of what I do or where I live or how much I make, I'm part of this, sports fan base, and you guys really bring that out. And I just wanted to let you know that that's important, and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much.
That's the kind of thing somebody said in a long time. Thank you so much.
Great call.
I appreciate that. I really do. That's all we try to do, even though I can sound grumpy like I did yesterday at times. Loveman's telling me to break in the first break of the show.
No, but it's interesting. She said something there, and no one is questioning the desire of the Warriors. So I want to say that on the front end. But it does, this fan base wants it bad for this team. But there's also a level of acceptance that, even if the guys want it, they might not be good enough to be able to go out and get it.